I'm DJ Preemo and I present to you So What's Up.
Okay, computer. Run it back.
So what's up?
Okay, this is a very special one for me. I'll even speak on behalf of everybody with Gang Starr. A lot of good things and some sad things as well. Let's go to the good first. Let's start with our first gold album that we ever received. Guru always wanted this. He even designed the plaque. And the album is Moment of Truth. As we have said in other interviews and things of that nature, Guru said it, I've said it. When we work on albums, Guru writes a list of the titles of the songs, and he puts in little parentheses what it might be. I explained this in the Inspector Deck episode of Above the Clouds. Rhyming joints is when we did records where you just write about how nice you could rhyme. And it'd be that simple, but we always did those types of records because hip hop was based on the competitive nature of I can out-rap you, I'm better than you, everything I say about myself will stomp your rhymes out, your rhymes is weak. That's how we always brought it, and that's how we continue to bring it, because I respect that type of style of rap, even though I like party raps, I like dirty raps that are just for fun, just for the clubs. I like it all. But when it came to Gang Starr, I mean, look at Dwick. That was a fun party record. The rhymes weren't whack, but at the same time, they possess showing that we have range in how we put records down. This one right here is so one of my favorites. People always ask what are my top five. I don't really have a top five, but if I had to have a top five, this is definitely gonna be in it. You Know My Steez. Our first single on the Gang Starr album, we knew what it had to sound like before we knew what it was gonna sound like. And it sounds like what I thought it was gonna sound like. So proud of this record. There's so many elements to this, especially when it comes to the video. When the record was created, one of the things that we thought about was the visual to it. First of all, every album that we've done has been year after year consistent. No More Mr. Nice Guy in 1989. 1990 going into 91, Step in the Arena. 1992, Daily Operation. 1993, Hard to Earn. 1994, 5, 6, and 7, nothing. I was doing production on the side. Guru was doing Jazz Mataz, Ill Kid compilation album, and Ballhead Slick. And he was touring, and I was here on hiatus, just doing producing with other artists and doing remixes and so forth. With that said, during that time, to take a 4-year break as a hip hop artist, really any artist, any genre, but in hip hop, taking a 4-year break is risky, especially if you want to come back out strong and hopefully gain the same fan base that built you. Our fan base stayed loyal. They were hungry and ready for the next thing we brought. So to bring the first single had to be a banger. Now, once You Know My Steez, once he told me that was the name of it, first thing came to my mind, scratch-wise, was Method Man when he said his verse on GZA's joint, Shadowboxing. Automatically, I was already there, and I'm like, somehow, these scratches is gonna be worked into a dope hook. Shout out to Method Man, shout out to motherfucking GZA, one of the genius, one of the illest lyricists of the Wu-Tang Clan and just hip-hop period. Here we go.
You know my Steez.
You know my Steez.
Let them know, do your thing, dog.
Keep it live.
To the beat, y'all.
The beat is sinister. Preemo makes you relax. I'm like the minister when I be lacing the wax.
Yeah. Okay. As I was developing the rest of the hook, I just heard Flavor Flav's voice somewhere in the record. And when I was thinking about where to place it, I said the beat has to stop and then start back again. And in the stop part, I would scratch something with Flavor Flav's voice. Of course, when I started looking for lines, the to the beat, y'all, it just said to me, that's it. When it came to the visual side, I said, I have to have Flavor Flav at the video to do this. So important. And even when he said, you're in the Terror Dome, just like my man Chuck D said, I gotta have Chuck D there, even if it's just a boom, like the way he did in Night Living Bassheads. He said, here it is, bam, and you say, God damn, and bam, just popped up and then walked off. I kind of wanted to do that with Chuck D and do that in the video. And then, people that do or don't know, the original and recipes to Prodigy from Mobb Deep, shout to Have. A lot of people that do or don't know, the real hip hop, you know, it was also done on Quiet Storm. They said it's the real hip hop. You Know My Steez came out first, and that was the development of the intro. When the beat drops, you hear that, and that hip hop is from Das EFX when I produced their record, The Real Hip Hop. So I was like, instead of me, when in the video, when I go, to hip hop, let Das EFX be at the video shoot doing that line. And of course, everybody showed up to the video, so it was a beautiful thing. Now, all of that stuff that I'm talking about with all those artists, Chuck D, Flavor Flav, and Das EFX, wasn't supposed to even happen at all that way due to the director of the video, who had a totally different vision. That director comes from history as well. If you've heard of Ruthless Records, recipes to Eazy-E, I hate saying recipes to all these people, they're icons. Ruthless Records, which was started with Jerry Heller and Eazy-E. Jerry Heller's nephew, Terry Heller, directed the video. He said, we're gonna go to Hollywood and shoot it in LA, and then we're gonna recreate the movie THX 1138. This movie came out in 1971. George Lucas directed that. This movie was pretty much based on the underground world of living in the underground city, where the people in that city were manipulated, where everything was outlawed, where they couldn't do anything without being controlled, and they were controlled by being fed medication. That medication prompted a couple of them to escape, but they were being chased and sought after by robotic police. We reenacted that video totally to the T, and once it was done, I was like, it's still gotta have some street elements in it. It can't just look like that. Plus, it was the Onyx era of wearing bald heads, and they told us all of us gotta shave our heads bald. If you look at the video, matter of fact, look at the intro. We all got bald heads. Yeah, so the baldy era was rocking. We was all doing it, but had to do it for the video to look like the characters in the official movie. And when the video was done, I told Terry, we have to shoot in New York to get my crew, because I always want to have my crew in a video, especially back then. We were always like, I gotta have my peoples in the video. That was the thing back then, to have your crew be seen so everybody could be like, yo, I'm in the video. I was the same way. Now, I hardly even want to be in videos because I've done so many. But back then, it was still, my crew gotta be in the video. So Terry fought with me a little bit, and I was like, Terry, if we don't shoot it, none of it's coming out. I was like that back in the days, not anymore. Again, I've grown up. Terry said, all right, took a flight to New York, called my crew, they showed up, Chuck D showed up, Das EFX showed up, and of course Flavor Flav showed up, and we had such a good time. Still was in the 40s back then, and I don't mean my age, drinking 40s of OE. We were 40'd up, and you could even see it in the video how crazy we were acting. Shout to Lil Fame of MOP, he was there as well. Oh man, we just had a good time. So, as I always say, the sounds that you hear from these classic records are contained on this floppy disk stored here, and the weapons of choice that I used to program the sounds in here was the S950 Akai sampler, the 950, and the Akai MPC-60 or MPC-62, which I was good at. The 3000, it was a whole bunch of different skills, and I didn't know how to do it, so the 1 and the 2, there I was, sort of like a DJ on turntables, the 1s and 2s. So from there, these are then transferred and recorded onto 2-inch tape. We did not have digital yet. It was reel to reels. That's a 2-inch tape machine right there. And through that process, it is all transmitted through a language called SMPTE, or time code is what it's also called. Through that, they all communicate with these wires that you connect to each machine into the 2-inch tape, and it's called MIDI, M-I-D-I. Once MIDI is put together, the next thing you get is when you hit play, you are now able to sync everything up. So the sad part of this whole story, before we get into loading this up, is Guru and I had an accountant, and her name was Mary Coleman. She actually used to work for Padel Nadell, the great Burt Padel, who was well known for having accounting for artists, actors, you name it, sports figures, Madonna, Robert De Niro, and on and on and on. One of the first rap groups I ever saw there was Eric B. and Rakim, which made me go, oh man, to have the same accountant as Eric B. and Rakim, that's gotta be cool. Of course, as you go and start to learn the business, you learn, how that goes. We were very naive to the business at that time. From that point, we stuck with her, and she got cancer. But during the time that she got cancer, we didn't know it was that bad. She knew, and she actually didn't tell us that she knew it was that bad until after she passed, because I was then fed the information that she didn't want to tell us that she was going to be leaving us soon. So the sad part about it was the day that we decided to go fly to LA and do the video, way before we did the New York part, we're getting ready to leave to do the video. I went to go visit her because she was not doing well, and she was laying on the couch, and she said she was very, very, very hot, and she needed popsicles. I remember this. And she said, can you go get me some popsicles across the street at the store, because she lived in Harlem. I went to the corner store, picked up some popsicles, gave them to her, put cold cloth on her forehead to keep her, cool. She said, look, you gotta go to the video shoot. She said, I'll see you when you get back. I was like, all right. As soon as I leave and get to LA, I call her to let her know I made it. She doesn't pick up the phone. And this is back with answering machines, not cell phones and stuff where you could just leave a voicemail or text. I call her over and over and over and over. Even during the shoot, she doesn't pick up. We fly back after the shoot. The day after the shoot, I call her, find out that she's back in the hospital from a family member. I call the hospital. I say, hey, I'm looking for Mary. She always said, if you're ever looking for me when I'm not at home, I'm going under my maiden name, not Mary Coleman. Going under my maiden name. I said, okay. Call the hospital. Said, yes, I'm looking for Mary Ned. They said, what's your relationship with her? I said, I'm her son. They go, hold on. Yes, may I help you? Yes, I'm looking for Mary Ned. What's your relationship with her? I'm her son. Hold on. Pass me to a third person. Yes, I'm looking for Mary Ned. This is her son. Hold on. They put me back to the first person that picked up the phone. And I said, yeah, what's going on? I mean, I'm trying to reach Mary Ned. They said she just passed a half hour ago. It was around 10:30ish or something like that. And a half hour prior, I just got settled into the house to call her and go, so I could go see her in the hospital, and she was gone. We just finished the Moment of Truth album. There was 2 songs that we did not finish. Next Time was the next to the last song on the album, because I was so depressed that Guru said we gotta do one more in memory of Mary. I said, all right. Next Time happened to be that song. The last song was called In Memory Of. If you know, at the very beginning of the song of In Memory Of, it goes like this.
Mommy Mary, Mary Coleman that is. I love you. Rest in peace. You still here though? Word up. This goes out to you.
With that said, it prompted me to get my first 2 tattoos. I was on the Rage Against the Machine tour, and we wanted to get tattoos done, and I wanted somebody reputable. And so when it came down to getting tattoos, I got one on my left arm for my mom. It says Forever Pearl. And then I got this, which is a tattoo for Mary, because I used to call her Mommy Mary. And that's how this tattoo became part of my life. With that said, obviously, great things came out of it, because, again, our first album went gold, and we were so happy, because getting your first plaque always means something, when it comes to you and your group. And Moment of Truth was the one. It was packed with just so many things that made it an incredibly tight package of a body of work for an album. Also, Guru was facing time in prison, possibly a 5-year bid. And that's the reason why we decided to make the cover us in court, so that if he had to go to jail for 5 years, we would have the album, be synonymous with what we were really going through. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of the best albums to be a part of. And again, rest in peace to Guru as well. And if I had to pick 5 of all time, which I'd never like to do, You Know My Steez would definitely be one of them. So let's load this up, put it in there into the S950, triggered with the MPC 60, and then you start the tape a little something like this.
The real
Hip-hop.
MCing and DJing from your own mind, you know.
I guess right now we should start the show.
Who's this suspicious character strapped with the sounds profound, similar to rounds spit by derringers? You're in the terror dome like my man Chuck D said. It's time to dethrone you clones and all you knuckleheads, cause MCs have used up extended warranties, while real MCs and DJs are a minority. But right about now I use my authority, cause I'm like the wizard and you look lost like Dorothy. The horror be when I return for my real people. Words of split wigs hitting like some double desert eagles, sporting caps pulled low and baggy slacks, subtracting all the rappers who lack over Premier's tracks. Severe facts have brought this rap game to near collapse. So as I have in the past, I will dropping lyrics that be harder than sex and candle wax, and one-dimensional MCs can't handle that. While the world's revolving on its axis, I come with mad loving plus the illest warlike tactics. The wilderness is filled with this, so many people searching for false bliss. I'm here with the skills you've missed. The rejected stone is now the cornerstone, sorta like the master builder when I make my way home. You know my Steez.
You know my stage. Let them know. Do your thing, y'all. Keep it live. To the beat, y'all.
Yeah, there it is. One of the most iconic songs that I will always definitely be proud of. I'm proud of everything. This is definitely one of them in a major, major way, especially to be a lead single after 4 years, to trust that this is the one that's going to set it off, and it did very well. And from that point, you know what it is. That's what's up.
That's why I can't be caught up in all the hype. I keep my soul tight and let these lines take flight. The apparatus gets blessed and suckers get put to rest. No more of the impure. I got the cure for this.